Imagine being born into a world where your very first breath is not greeted by the warmth of a mother's arms or the strength of a father's embrace. Imagine walking through life's toughest storms without a hand to hold or a voice to guide you. This is the reality for millions of orphans, yet many of them transform their power, their struggles into strength, and their silence
Another
into a voice that inspires the world. Growing up as an orphan means facing life's harsh realities at a stage when a child should be carefree, innocent, and surrounded by love. While most children experience the comfort of a family, the guidance of parents, and the safety of a home, an orphan often begins life with a sense of incompleteness. The absence of parents leaves a void that nothing else can truly replace. The tender words of a mother, the protective presence of a father, and the emotional support of a family are missing, and this creates challenges that touch both the heart and the mind. Instead of enjoying the simplicity of childhood, orphans are forced to grow up too quickly, carrying responsibilities and emotions that are far too heavy for their age. The harsh realities they encounter are not just physical but deeply emotional. Loneliness often becomes a constant companion, and the questions of why me? Or what did I do to deserve this? Echo in their young hearts. In the absence of guidance, they are left to navigate a world that seems far too big and too complicated. This reality also brings struggles with identity, self-worth, and belonging, as they often feel disconnected from the love and support that others receive naturally. These challenges shape their worldview early on. They see life not as something handed to them, but as something they must fight for. Their days are filled with lessons about survival, independence, and resilience. Where others take their privileges for granted, orphans learn to value even the smallest gestures of kindness because they know what it means to live without. This early exposure to life's hardships instills a strength that, while born out of pain, has the potential to transform their journey into one of inspiration. Orphanhood brings loneliness, unanswered questions, and emotional struggles that shape a person's life in profound ways. The absence of parents leaves not just a physical emptiness, but also an emotional gap that affects the way a child understands themselves and the world around them. Without the kind of a family, orphans often find themselves struggling with feelings of abandonment and rejection. They wonder why life has placed such a burden on them, and these unanswered questions can remain heavily on their hearts. At an age when most children are discovering joy in the warmth of their homes, orphans are faced with the reality of standing alone in a world that feels unfamiliar and unkind. Loneliness becomes a silent shadow that follows them everywhere. Whether it is at school in gatherings or during celebrations, they constantly feel the absence of someone to guide them, or simply share their happiness and pain. This lack of emotional support can sometimes lead to deep sadness, and in many cases, they must learn to comfort themselves when no one else is there to do so. Emotional struggles like fear of being unwanted, lack of trust, and difficulty expressing feelings are common, making their inner world complex and heavy. These struggles, however, also force them to confront life in ways others may never experience. They develop an acute awareness of their emotions and the struggles of others, often becoming more sensitive and empathetic. The unanswered questions may remain, but they slowly learn to transform their loneliness into independence and their emotional pain into resilience. Though the scars of these struggles remain, they become part of the strength that enables an orphan to grow, to endure, and to eventually inspire others with their journey. Hardship and pain can become sources of inner strength and resilience when faced with courage and determination. For an orphan, life presents difficulties that often feel unbearable, but within those very trials lies the opportunity to grow stronger. Pain, though difficult to endure, teaches lessons that never could. It builds an awareness of life's fragility and pushes one to discover strength hidden deep within. While others may crumble under the weight of adversity, those who have faced hardship from an early age develop an ability to endure, to stand firm, and to keep moving forward even when the odds are against them. Every painful experience has the potential to shape character in profound ways. Loss teaches the value of presence, struggle teaches the importance of perseverance and disseverance, and distills the power of patience. These lessons, though born out of hardship, mold individuals into people who can withstand storms and still rise stronger than before. For orphans, this journey is not about escaping pain, but about transforming it into a force that propels them forward. The absence of family teaches them how to rely on themselves, how to make decisions with courage, and how to find meaning even in suffering. Resilience does not come avoiding trials, but from walking through them and emerging wiser. Pain refines the heart and strengthens the will. It helps one understand that challenges are not permanent barriers, but temporary tests that shape a stronger self. In this way, hardship becomes more than suffering. It becomes more a foundation upon which strength is built. What once caused tears and despair slowly becomes the reason for courage and determination, turning pain into a source of inspiration not only for the individual, but also for all who witness their journey's strength is forged in trials. Resilience is born from struggles. And this truth becomes especially clear in the life of an orphan. Every difficulty faced without support becomes a lesson in endurance. Every challenge survived without becomes a milestone of growth. And every hardship overcome becomes proof of inner strength. Unlike those who live in comfort, an orphan often has no choice but to fight for survival, to adapt quickly, and to find solutions in situations where hope seems absent. These repeated struggles carve out resilience in the deepest sense, a resilience that cannot be taught in classroom and books, but only lived through experience. The storms of life may bend them but rarely break them, because over time they learn that pain is temporary, but strength lasts forever. Each obstacle they encounter adds an utter determination to their character. Where others may see defeat, they begin to see opportunity. Where others may stop, they find the courage to move forward. Struggles that might overwhelm someone else become the very training ground where they cultivate discipline, patience, and mental toughness. This resilience does not mean the absence of fear or sorrow, but the ability to rise despite both. Through these trials, orphans develop an unshackable belief that they can withstand difficulties and still pursue their dreams. The constant exposure to challenges sharpens their ability to adapt and strengthens their faith in their own capabilities. Struggle becomes the silent teacher that shows them the value of persistence and the importance of never giving up. It is in the fire of trials that true strength is molded. And it is through surviving struggles that resilience becomes a permanent part of their identity. Empowering them to face any future storm with courage, orphans learn self-ruination determination without parental guidance. A lesson that becomes both their greatest challenge and their greatest strength. While most children grow up with parents guiding them at every step, an orphan must discover how to make decisions alone, how to navigate difficulties without advice, and how to trust their own instincts when there is no one to lean on. This lack of support often forces them to mature far earlier than others, developing a sense of independence that is forged through necessity rather than choice. Though the process is painful, it builds a foundation of courage of belief and self throughout life. In the absence of a protective figure, they become their own guardians. In the absence of encouragement, they learn to encourage themselves. In the absence of direction, they find own paths. These lessons, although learned through hardship, create individuals who are not easily broken by setbacks. Their determination grows out of the realization that no one else will fight their battles for them. So they must summon the strength to fight on their own. This self-reliance strengthens their willpower and teaches them how to remain firm even when circumstances are a nation becomes their greatest weapon. Where others may rely on external motivation, orphans learn to draw energy from within. They understand the value of perseverance, of standing tall after every fall, and of holding on to dreams even when the world seems to push them down. Their independence, while born out of loneliness, transforms into a driving force that helps them that seemed impossible. This ability to rely on themselves and to remain determined in the face of adversity becomes a powerful source of inspiration for others who witness their journey every tear, scar, and setback becomes a lesson and a stepping stone in the life of an orphan, turning their painful experiences into meaningful growth. When faced with loss at such a young age, trust at such a young more than just expressions of sadness. They become reminders of endurance. Each tear reflects the ability to release pain yet still stand strong afterward. Scars, whether emotional or physical, serve as proof that endured battles others may never understand. These scars, the marks of suffering, gradually transform into symbols of survival and strength, showing that they have walked through darkness and emerged on the other side, setbacks. 2. Carry powerful lessons. While many view setbacks as failures, orphans often learn that they are simply redirections, opportunities to pause, reflect, and try again with greater they fall. Every time they fall, they discover new strategies to rise, and every time they are denied something, they learn the importance of persistence and patience. These experiences, though painful in them, add layers of strength to their character and prepare them for greater challenges ahead. Instead of becoming prisoners of their past, orphans often use these painful moments, these paving stones toward a brighter future. Each difficulty faced equips them with knowledge and courage that comfort could never provide. They develop the ability to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities for growth. The lessons carved into their hearts by hardship serve as lifelong guides, teaching them empathy, gratitude, and the power of perseverance. In this way, what once felt like differing transforms into wisdom, resilience, and a source of hope that not only shapes their own future, but also inspires those around them to rise above their own struggles. Imagine being born into a world where your very strength is not greeted by the warmth of a mother's arms, or the strength of a father's embrace. Imagine walking through life's toughest storms without a hand to hold or a voice to guide you. This is the reality for millions of orphans, yet many of them transform their power, their struggles into strength, and their silence into a voice that inspires the world.